rejoice and submit.
My name is Lori Douglas, and I am your worship associate for this service at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County. As you've heard, we start our service with some music and a little bit of this and that. And by singing invitation to gather together, got a little bit of yard stuff up here. We're gathering. Even as we are scattered in many different places, and whether our sacred space is virtual or live. Today we're expressing gratitude to all the folks that made this possible. And I will be sharing a number of different names after this. So right now, we know who we are, we know the tech people, we know our piano player, we know all our famous people that are putting this together, and we thank you. The service is being broadcast live on YouTube, and once again, it will be shared live on Zoom on the Universal link, and followed by virtual social time. The YouTube recording will be made available on the UUFCC YouTube channel after the service, and your patience will be appreciated as there is a slight delay before that happens electronically. I'd like to remind you of a couple of simple procedures that will help our service and broadcast run smoothly. This would be a good time to put your phones in meditation mode, if you haven't already. For those of you with us virtually, you may wish to have a chalice or a candle there when it's time to light our chalices. Now, although our risks are less, we're still being careful, and those who feel comfortable or feel the need to, please wear your masks, and if you want others near you to do that or take space, do what you need to do to stay safe. If you intend to hum or lightly sing, you need to have your mask on because that really expels a lot of air and we don't need that. So if you want to do that, put your mask on, please. Thank you. When the service is over, please exit through the front door, assuming it's not raining. Otherwise, what we're going to be doing is going out the back door and shopping. We have some leftovers from our silent auction, and they're 50% off, right, Alice? Right. Okay, yard sale, yes, from our yard sale. Thank you, not our auction, our yard sale. And enjoy yourself there, and anything that is left over, we're asking people. We had trouble getting a truck. We tried in advance for 3 weeks and couldn't get a truck, so we're asking people at the end of the sale in the back, if anybody can stay and has room in their cars or a truck or whatever, they fill them up with whatever's left and donate them to the cause of their choice. There's all kinds, if you have questions about places to go, we can let you know. Let's see what else. Yes, there is coffee available, and depending upon the weather, John has arranged that to be outside. Okay, I think that's it for getting us going. Welcome. I wish you all a joyful Ramadan, which started last evening. Ramadan is the most important Muslim holiday and a time of spiritual reflection. You are welcome here no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter your background. You are welcome here to join us as we proclaim worth in our spiritual journeys. You are welcome here as we share songs that uplift our very beings. And you are welcome to join us in community as we learn, live, and love together. If you're new here, please stand and bow your spirit or wave and state your first names and where you are from. Anybody today? Hi.
Evan, I'm from just up the road here in Oak Hollow.
Welcome, Evan. Hey.
I'm not new, but I wanted to introduce my sisters. This is Gloria and Lynette from Pennsylvania.
Hey, welcome. Thank you, Jen. Yes. All right. If you haven't also already, please take the opportunity to meet with one of our membership teams. And if you're new at home, please contact Mary Jane at UUFCC office at UUFCC.org for more information. And wherever you are, on virtual, at home, wherever, we're glad you've chosen to spend your time with us today. Our theme for today and for this month is awakening. We'll have the opportunity to learn a little bit more from people you may already know in different ways. We will introduce 3 of our new board members, and they will tell you a little bit about where they're at in their awakenings. John, Robert, and Dennis. We will also have an introduction of our newest staff member, who will tell you a little bit about his awakening, and from our one of our behind-the-scenes tech assistants, Sue. So Corey and Sue will be up here, John, Robert, and Dennis later on. It'll be a fun day for that. We will now open this sacred space by turning our attention to the chalice through words by Reverend Suzelle Lynch, a UU minister and author who previously served in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. After these words, Janet will help us out by lighting the chalice here in the sanctuary. Awaken to the work. The fire of love burning deep in every human heart calls us to awaken. Awaken to the work of justice. Awaken to the work of compassion. Awaken to the work of community. For in this time of human suffering and exaltation, we are called beyond awakening into action. May the chalice flame we now light guide our hearts in service to a greater good that holds all living things in its holy embrace. Please, while Janet is lighting this, join me in reciting our affirmation. Shortly after, there'll be time for those of you at home to light your chalices. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. I invite you now at home to light your chalices or candles. Now Jim will bless us with his prelude, On Wings of Song by Felix Mendelssohn. Thank you, Jim, ever so much. Our opening words today are by John Wellwood, who is a psychotherapist, teacher, and author, and has been a pioneer in integrating psychological and spiritual work for many years. Sit down wherever you are and listen to the wind singing in your veins. Feel the love, the longing, the fear in your bones. Open your heart to who you are right now. Not who you would like to be, not the saint that you are striving to become, but the being right here before you, inside you, around you. All of you is holy. You are already more and less than whatever you can know. Breathe out, touch in, let go. Our recorded music today is On the Dusty Earth Drum by UUFCC Choir, and the words are by Joseph Cotter and music by Jason Shelton. It's got a Native American bass to it, and I've asked our ushers to pass out, we have a few hand drum cymbals to do some light drumming behind, or tapping behind. And if you don't have that, claps on your lap in the Native American spirit will just be absolutely lovely. Thank you.
On the dusty earth drum beats the falling rain. Now a whispered murmur, now a louder strain. Send the silvery drumsticks on an ancient drum.
Yay. We have awakenings of all different kinds today, so this will be fun. Now, I ask someone to come up with the book. Helen has the Book of Life. Wonderful. Thank you, Helen. We have a long tradition here at UUFCC of sharing joys, sorrows, and life milestones by entering them into the Book of Life. This is the one that's found in the back, and it is red, and messages can be entered in here at any point before the service. And if you're at home, you can email entries to the Book of Life at uufcc.org, preferably before Saturday, and so we can get them in here. After I've completed the reading, we will enter into a moment of silence, followed by our hymn, Spirit of Life. We have a few things today. First, from Sue French. I feel much gratitude for my health, my family, and my friends. My great-grandkids keep me young. And next, we have been blessed this week to have, hold on, I just lost one. There we go. We were blessed this week to have 23 volunteers, even more than once, come working with our incredible leader, Alice C., in having an amazingly successful yard sale. Alice. 23. And as Alice said, here are our joys. Trudy, Lynn, Stephanie, myself, Laura L., Don L., Mike, Alan, Dave and Florence, Betty B., Mary M., Sally, John L., Dennis, Tom, Cheryl, Jackie, Kay, Sue, Allison, George, and Gudrun. Oh my goodness. We are a joyful community blessed with such volunteers in so many different ways. Oh my goodness. Now, we have a number of folks who are having physical difficulties that have not been shared lately, but are continuing to struggle and in recovery. So we can have them in our hearts and minds as we move ahead here. May we hold all of them, all of our unspoken joys and sorrows in our hearts. May we also hold each other in love and tenderness, so that this fellowship may be a source of strength, comfort, courage, and hope in the days and weeks ahead. We'll now have a meditation, a brief silence, followed by Spirit of Life. Use your masks. I now welcome Sharon, and I now welcome the awakening, getting to know us better, through John, Robert, Corey, Sue, and Dennis. John, will you lead us off, please?
One thing about going first is I lower the bar for anybody else who follows. I was given 5 minutes. I only have about 2 minutes written. So I want to say first, another praise for Alice C. Yesterday, the last several days, I've never seen anybody work as hard as she has. And on the 27th of this month is a very special milestone birthday for her. I won't tell you how much, but it comes after 80. The woman and her husband are amazing people, and I mean that. They are truly a pleasure to know and to have in our fellowship. I'm getting verklempt. All right, I really don't like doing this type of thing, so I have to put in some humor. Excuse me. Last summer, I attended the UUFCC booth at the Charlotte Harbor Event Center during a centennial celebration for Charlotte County. At one point, a gentleman approached and we started talking about UUFCC. I started to explain where the fellowship was located, and he interrupted me and said, "Oh, I'm aware of you Unitarians. You are a hotbed of Black Lives Matter activity." He actually said that. I'm not good at snarky retorts on the spur of the moment. I thought about going, "Oh yeah," or "nanny nanny goo goo," but I didn't. And usually the retorts come by the dozens after the moment has passed. So I remained silent. Our Black Lives Matter signs have persevered vandalism and have even disappeared more than once. Each time a new sign was put up, or has disappeared more than once. I forgot my period, excuse me. Each time a new sign was put up. This last one, being out of reach and not easily to access, has withstood longer than the others. We didn't give up. We kept buying new signs until we found a way to make it and its meaning last. Reflecting on that one brief encounter over the last several months has made me realize more than ever that being stubborn in your beliefs is not the only way change can happen. Yes, someone with views that oppose mine may be just as stubborn, and yes, there will always be people that believe they are better than others because they think that skin color or religion or sexual orientation determines a person's worth or lack thereof. Who slapped who at the Oscars last week, or the latest Kardashian news has no impact on my life whatsoever, and I really couldn't care less. I mean, really. Every time I turn on my phone, there's more news about this. Hate, bigotry, racism, and all the other isms need to be our focus. Hold the door open for someone, anyone at the dollar store. Let someone with 1 or 2 items get in front of you and your cart full of groceries at Walmart. Give a cheery hello to a stranger. Say please and thank you, often. And remember to be grateful. Gratitude is healing. Be grateful for what you have. Don't be bitter for what you don't have. And remember, if you can be anything in life, be kind. Oh, and Robert, you're up. Almost forgot.
Thank you, John.
Coronavirus. Boy, it's been an agonizing, long 2 years. Staying at home, afraid of being in any social setting, including just going to the grocery store. Afraid of getting infected by the deadly virus that has taken so many of our age group, including several friends. Zoom came along. What's that? But it wasn't like actually being with someone, looking them in the eye, hugging, shaking hands. It wasn't like real connection. But eventually, Zoom became familiar. The threat of the virus is now waning. We can see our friends in person. I am very grateful for that. I often have a conversation with my cat, Moxie, sharing my feelings about being afraid to go outside the house. She said she understood because every time you take me to the vet, I have to fight for my life. They're jabbing me with needles. Then you save my life and bring me home. I have a lot of conversations with my cat. I told her how happy I was to be out of the house and see my friends and go shopping and not be so afraid. Moxie said, "Just leave me home. Alone. I enjoy the peaceful, quiet atmosphere." She feels safe to feel and grateful just to be alone. So, I'm out being a social butterfly with caution. Then Moxie looked me in the eye. She whispered conspiratorially, "Happiness is an inside job." I said, "Moxie, you don't understand the meaning of the phrase, 'Happiness is an inside job,' a class by Sharon Whitehill." Moxie replied, "Moxie is happy being inside. Robert is happy being outside. Capiche?" So the moral of this story is, don't think that you know what's better for somebody else. Even your cat. Sometimes they just want to be alone. Moxie is my muse. Capiche?
Corey.
It seems Robert has forgotten me, y'all. It definitely feels weird to be on the other side of the camera. I wrote a speech for you guys today. I think I'm gonna just improv it. What do you think? So, I've had many awakenings throughout my entire life. The first one started when I was 12 years old. I was raised in a very Pentecostal Christian household. And when I got to be age 12, I started noticing some things that were a little bit weird compared to my friends that were part of other religions. I had a bunch of Jewish friends in middle school, and I met one Muslim. We didn't really talk much, though. He was kind of secretive. And then when I got to be in about 9th grade, we started learning world history. And in world history, they started teaching us about the world religions. And one of the first ones we learned about was Buddhism. And I said, well, this seems like a bit more spirituality than what I'm used to, because all we did was go to church and pray and read the fancy book. I'm like, where's the dancing? My Jewish friend had dancing. Why don't we have dancing? So I started to really dig into what the history books were saying. And the minute my mom found out about it, she wasn't too pleased, to say the least. So then I met another friend who was Wiccan. And he really explained a lot to me. And I'm like, see, this is what I need. This is the kind of spirituality that I need. I just needed a wand to whip things, away when I wanted them to. But at the end of it, I really noticed that it was, where I came from, it was us versus them mentality. If you're not on our team, you're wrong. And when you really start to learn about paganism or Wiccan, you really start to learn that that is a very toxic mentality. There is no us versus them. It's us as a whole. We are what they call the divine, the goddess and God. We're their children, and we're supposed to be neighbors. We're not supposed to be on teams, white versus black, red versus blue. And you also start to learn of this absolute evil is kind of a false mentality as well. Is there really any absolute evil? I don't know, I'm actually asking. And then when I was about 16, I started to realize that I was not exactly straight. And then that really opened the doorway. I'm like, nope, gotta get out of here. Nope. And then a couple years ago, I saw a video on YouTube that really got me thinking. And it actually helped me start writing my book. I'm writing a fiction novel, if any of you didn't know. If you want to know what it's about, come at me, I'll tell you. But the title of the YouTube video was, "What if straight people had to come out?" And it literally was a video about the tables being turned. And I'm like, that's an interesting concept. So needless to say, from the time I was 12 years old to even now, awakenings are happening all the time. What's the moral to the story? Don't ever think you've got it figured it out. And now for Sue.
Good morning. So my little speech is more about a reawakening, I think, because before 2014, I was very spiritual, went to church all the time, saw God in everything. But then 2014 hit, and so the first death hit. My husband passed away. But from 2014 to 2020, total 4 of my family members passed. So in that time, I kind of lost the spirituality, the love of everything, and I was kind of outside myself. And then COVID hit. So the lockdown. I was very fearful not only of getting COVID, but of being alone and locked up. So, I began reading and just kind of trying to take my mind off of being alone and locked up. And then I started to realize that in that time, it was an opportunity for me to self-reflect and kind of get back to where I was before all of that happened. And I began feeling, inch by inch, a little more real and more myself. And even though it was a lockdown, I would go for drives because, I just had to get out. I wouldn't go anywhere, but I'd just drive. And sometimes I'd stop at like a forest and go for a little walk by myself, nobody around. And things started sparking in my psyche, and I decided that life isn't so terrible after all, and I was beginning to feel more and more like myself, like I said. And before I knew it, my spirituality started reawakening, and other interests started creeping in, and actually before I knew it, I actually felt I'm whole again. Yes, sure, I miss all my family and the ones that have passed, and it was horrible experiences, but it's an opportunity to learn from all of that. And for a while there in the beginning, I couldn't learn from anything until COVID hit. All the horrible things that happened during COVID, and I did get COVID, I ended up getting COVID, but all the people that passed away and all the horrible things, for me, there was still that little spark of, wow, if COVID hadn't hit and lockdown didn't happen, you know, would I be here now? Would I actually feel whole again? So in some ways, for me, the lockdown was a good thing. And, you know, I think we all have to take opportunities, even if they seem, you know, like they're horrible things at first. Take the opportunity, and you will be reawakened also. Thank you. Dennis, your turn.
I will begin my reflections on my latest awareness of awakening with a quote from Linda Paston's poem. The poem's called Imaginary Conversations. You tell me to live each day as if it were my last, but why the last, I ask? Why not live each day as if it were the first? All raw astonishment. Eve rubbing her eyes awake for the first morning. My latest awakening began with a winter solstice gift from my beloved daughter, Katie. It's a 2-foot-long cylindrical glass and green enameled bird feeder. The glass is surrounded by a metal cage, and the cage makes it completely squirrel-proof. When I returned from my week-long visit to Katie's new home in Richmond, Virginia, I hung this exquisite gift on a 7-foot shepherd's hook at the far center of my patio. The patio is adjacent to a large screen lanai. Then I filled it to the brim with wild bird feed. Next, I hung 2 square suet cages on 6-foot shepherd hooks at opposite ends of the patio, and I filled them with berry treats, a type of suet that I read was irresistible to feeder birds. The next morning, which was New Year's Eve, I woke early anticipating the action. Despite 3 freshly filled bird baths and the offerings of delicious seeds and berry suet, not one bird stopped by. The next morning, after a rather late rising, with coffee in hand, I settled into my old beige wickered chair on the lanai while Bosco curled up on his paisley lap pillow. Much to our amazement, several blue jays had discovered the feeder. Their soft wee-yaw, wee-yaw songs were clearly wishing me and my wonderful puppy a happy new year. Within a day or two, the jays began to battle over the rights to the feeder. While the newly arrived thrashers and northern mockingbirds were delayed, they persisted. The cacophony of music increased as the aggressive jays dove to unsuccessfully chase the new arrivals away. Within a week, Carolina wrens appeared, singing their clear tick-a-doo, tick-a-doo. And then the wrens were quite patient, waiting for their turn at the 4 feeding portals. Over the following weeks, Bosco and I had developed a daily habit of settling into our lanai perch just prior to dawn to witness the new arrivals, and they did come. One of the most amazing guests is a male painted bunting. He features bright red, yellow, and blue feathers. I named him Primary. He is simply spectacular. When the mourning doves arrived, I became concerned because they preferred eating the seeds that had fallen to the ground. We have free-roaming cats in our neighborhood, and I was afraid the doves would become breakfast before our eyes. But fortunately, Bosco is quite alert, and at the first feline sighting, he jumps from my lap and chases the unwelcome cat off. Of course, all the birds fly away too, but after a few minutes of quiet, they return even hungrier after their shock. One of the most common birds to the feeder is the American crow. Again, I'm reminded that black is truly beautiful. But by far, the king and queen of our backyard is a devoted pair of northern cardinals. He is shockingly beautiful with his brilliant red feathered attire, especially when he's perched on a cactus. His mate is quite beautiful too, but in a more reserved fashion. Initially, he would feed while she kept watch. When full, he became the guard and she ate. During the last several weeks, I have witnessed them carry small twigs, dried grass, and other assorted building materials. They are clearly building a nest high in the easternmost red cedar. During this process, their feeding behaviors have changed. They both sit on the feeder, and he carefully selects the choicest seeds and feeds her. I think they found true love. While I still haven't identified all the birds that visit my sanctuary, I must mention the delightful pileated red-headed woodpecker. He loves the suet and attaches himself to the cage, and it twirls while he eats. I've often wondered how he keeps the food down during his acrobatic spinning. So for the last several months, Bosco and I start every day simply sitting, watching, and listening. Despite the traffic noises from the nearby Forest Nelson Boulevard, our lanai perch is the most peaceful place I know. The golden light of dawn softly illuminates the constant movement of plants and trees, clouds, and now beautiful, beautiful singing birds. After an hour of experiencing this peace, I conclude our daily routine by stating out loud 3 things that I'm grateful for and 1 thing that I really want to accomplish that day. Finally, as Bosco hops down for his expected treat, I offer a benediction. It is based on our 7th principle. I covenant to affirm, promote, and consciously offer my respect, praise, and reverence for the interdependent web of being, of all existence, of which we are all a part. I will conclude with a poem awakened to this gift by Gretchen Haley. Open the door of your hesitant heart. Let the light shine on all the sleeping shadows. Awaken to this day that offers itself to you and to all with great extravagance. Awaken to this gift, this beauty, this chance that we might still burst forth like the crocuses, that we may still surprise this earth with a new song, sung together, calling us all in, and then sending us all back out, and know it all as a blessing.
Oh my goodness, we are blessed with such joy in so many different ways. Wow. Now we welcome Jim to share some wonderful music. was Walson, A flat by Brahms. Thank you, Jim, ever so much. In our tradition, congregations exist because of the generous support of our members and friends. It is our privilege and our responsibility to ensure the health and the future of this fellowship. To this end, your support to offer to the ministry of this fellowship, whether by pledge or donation, may be offered online or right now as the ushers come forward. You can also mail checks to the office or in the mailbox, or we can accept them on Venmo, and payments there should be made with UUFCC offering. Your generosity is always appreciated. And if you are with us for the first time, please do not feel obligated to give, for your presence is our gift. Thank you. It was a special treat. Yay, yes. We are now going to have another piece of recorded music. And actually, I'm going to wait. Let us just soothe ourselves on this and do the life of the community first. Okay, folks in the back, we'll do our last recorded music later. Life of the community is a time to highlight our special events and activities. Please remember to do what? Check your weekly updates, which include all kind of cool stuff. All right. And at home, if you would like to send your information in through Book of Life, we'd love that too. So our events, you heard about our yard sale. The exciting thing is we made $1,140, I believe, and that's even before today's shopping afterwards. This was a landmark yard sale. Woohoo! We also had, let's see, what else is here? We did our thank yous. Okay, Mary Jane's office hours, our administrative assistant over here in this office, has changed, if you haven't seen it, to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 to 12 noon. So that is a change. She won't be here Tuesday and Thursday. After many of us over the weekend have heard of Bobby, who rakes and keeps up everything outside, does a great job. She gave us all kinds of warnings all weekend about the fire hazard that we have here with the leaves and the things in the trees and the stuff on the roof and all the rest of it. And so it rained. Yay! Hallelujah! But hopefully in the near future we can get together a raking party and help her with all the rest that's out there, because there is a ton of stuff that needs to be raked off. And she has some serious history in helping with catastrophes like this. And a lot of churches have burned down in similar kind of conditions because they've got a lot of things connected and branches overhead and things like this. So we need to have a cleanup party one of these days. So get ready for that. There's been interest in us providing a series for youth here called OWL. If any of you have heard of it, it's called Our Whole Lives. It is actually a comprehensive sexuality education curriculum that helps participants make informed and responsible decisions about their sexual health and behavior. This is for young folks in levels 7 to 9 and 10 to 12 grades. it equips them with a grounded and holistic view of sexuality, comprehensive in all kinds of different factors, and it requires a lot of training and so forth. But the community, a lot of community members have been asking, and there is really Unitarians and Congregational Church puts this thing together and offers it frequently in different areas in different states throughout the nation. And we're thinking about it, and there is a training coming up in Clearwater, Florida. It's very rare to have trainings around. There's a live one in Clearwater, Florida at the end of April. If anybody is thinking that they might be interested in this, they're looking for people, facilitators who need to be group leaders skilled in communication and facilitation. And this would be another thing going in conjunction with our next week service is going to be with Array, which is the Young People's Rainbow Coalition that supports gay, lesbian, LGBTQ young folks. We're looking at starting a PFLAG meeting here. We're looking at starting a lot of support coming up. So this is just one angle. So if somebody has those kind of skills or you know somebody, please tell them, because it's quite a great training, and we will sponsor it. It's expensive, but it's a lot of effort to be put forth there. It'd be great for this community. Parents are just clamoring, saying we need somebody to do this in a good way. So this would be good. Next thing, we still have a few openings in the Healing Conversation series starting April 21st, which goes for 6 Thursdays. Healing Conversation is an anti-racism program which is meant to leave us all being able to share in a good way our lives in an open way with each other and spread the word that there's more to life than the things that Corey brought up, that it's not all black and white, right? Okay, if you're interested in that, let me know. And we have some great scholarships for that too. If you want to have coffee on Sundays, John has been picking it up and has picked it up through today, but we will have the bulletin board up after the sale is over. Put that up and you'll be able to sign up, because if we don't have volunteers to make coffee, guess what we won't have? Coffee! All right, there we go. Well, you guys are sharp this morning. Another announcement. Meet and greet the school board candidates. Anybody know where that's going to be? Here, yes, absolutely. And
The weekly update.
oh, very good, very good. League of Women Voters is sponsoring that, along with UUFCC. And we want to thank Betty, where are you? Yay, Betty and the Immigration Committee, others on the Immigration Committee, for coming up with this wonderful outreach for us as a congregation and as a way to support and open us up to the community. So meet and greet school board candidates right here on April 16th, 4 to 6. Finally, for those of you who missed it, we did in our annual meeting this year, we have a whole new slate of folks coming up, and here's your board. Dennis Shaw, President. Laura Lehrman, or raise your hands if people don't know you. Okay, Laura Lehrman, Vice President. John Lee, Trustee. Robert Moran, Trustee. Sharon Whitehill, returning as Trustee. Yay, yay. Okay, and our other folks are here? Other board members? There we go. Betty's returning. Nancy's returning for a short time as treasurer, because guess who we got a treasurer after Nancy? Dick will be coming on shortly. Yay, Dick volunteered. All right. Yay. And we have Helen returning as a trustee. All right. Did I forget anybody? No, okay. Then we have our nominating committee, Stephanie and Jackie returning. Where are you? Okay, Jackie's in the back. Stephanie's not here, but she's returning, and a whole slew of new people to help. Dave M., Mary M., Dorothy P., and Alan Searle. Oh, Alan S. Hi. There's Dave. Okay, great. And for our folks who are going to represent us at the General Assembly, Laura A. Where are you? Again, there you are. Oh, no, Lori Anderson, not Laura Lehrman. Sorry, Lori Anderson. Nancy W. Again, yes, and Mary Jane W. will be off-site attendees, and some will be there. Actually, they're in person because they'll be out in the West Coast with this GA thing. So we'll have great representation. Look forward to sending our thoughts and opinions to them that they can carry on in our stead. Wonderful. So it was a great meeting, and we passed our bylaws. Yes! Yay. That was a big deal. Thanks for Bylaws Committee for 2 years of service. Wow. Okay. Can we now have our song? This recorded music is called, yes, Jackie. Oh, yes, afterwards, half price, 50%. After we go here, there's gonna be coffee to take around when you're looking at the items that you can't wait to get. And there's gonna be deals, and we're giving them away fast. And for anything that's left over, please take them home in your car and donate somewhere else, okay? All right, we got it. Okay, so we're gonna hear UU The Vote is our recorded music, and it is another UU selection by the How We Thrive virtual choir called We Shall Be Known. This is a nice piece. The people that initially did this is a group called Ma Muse, which is two women who have come up with spiritual music that connects with current issues.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love.
It's time now. It is time now. We're getting close. UU The Vote. You'll hear more and more as we get closer, and hopefully we'll be doing some exciting things soon with them. It is time. Our closing words today are by Reverend Scott Taylor, who is a UU minister in New York and also worked several years as a congregational life director for UUA. May it stay with you, this awakening, this beautiful grasp of who you truly are, never alone, always worthy, graced with a unique gift that the world surely needs. And if you lose it, if it slips through your busy fingers, or it's drowned out by the noise of the world, remember that you can always retrieve it here in this tender temple of equally forgetful friends. We're always here, ready to sing you back to yourself. Amen. Now we will extinguish this chalice. Janet, please. Thank you. But not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. Feel free to hum or sing softly behind your masks. Go now in peace. Thank you. I can't stop but have to hum, you know, this is what you do.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of us surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere.
Enjoy your chopping and chatting. Oh yes, turn your phones back on if you like.